the outside, Chris Watts appeared to be the definition of an ordinary American family man. He was quiet, polite, and soft-spoken, working as an oil field operator for Anadarko Petroleum in Colorado. He lived in a clean suburban home in Frederick with his wife Shanann Watts and their two young daughters, Bella and Celeste. Family photos showed smiles, birthday parties, and affectionate moments that suggested a happy life. Shanann was highly active on social media, sharing daily updates about her marriage, motherhood, health struggles, and career. To the world, the Watts family looked stable, loving, and normal. But beneath that carefully maintained image, a deadly secret was growing, one that would end in one of the most disturbing family murder cases in modern American history. Chris met Shanann in 2010, and they married 2 years later. Their personalities were very different. Shanann was outgoing, expressive, and dominant, while Chris was introverted and passive. In the early years, the relationship appeared strong, but financial stress soon took a heavy toll. By 2015, the couple had filed for bankruptcy. Medical bills, lifestyle expenses, and involvement in a multi-level marketing company added pressure to an already strained marriage. While Shanann continued to present optimism and motivation online, Chris began emotionally withdrawing. He rarely expressed anger, but internally, resentment was building. By 2018, Chris had started an affair with a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger. This relationship marked a turning point. With Nicole, Chris experienced a version of life without responsibilities, no children, no financial stress, no marital conflict. Phone records later revealed hundreds of messages, intimate photos, and long conversations. He began imagining a future where his old life no longer existed. During this time, Shanann sensed something was wrong. She confronted Chris about his emotional distance, tried to save the marriage, and even suggested counseling. But Chris had already mentally checked out. In the summer of 2018, Shanann traveled to North Carolina with their daughters to visit family, leaving Chris alone in Colorado. During those weeks, Chris spent nearly every day with Nicole. They went on dates, shared meals, and talked about starting fresh. He told her his marriage was ending. Internet searches later showed Nicole looking up Shanann's name, wedding dresses, and information about Amber Frey, the mistress in the Scott Peterson case, raising public suspicion, though no charges were ever filed against her. On August 13, 2018, Shanann returned home from a business trip at around 1:48 a.m. She was 15 weeks pregnant with their third child, a baby boy they planned to name Nico. By the next morning, Shanann and the children were gone. Chris told co-workers, neighbors, and police that Shanann had taken the girls to a friend's house after an emotional conversation. But almost immediately, his behavior raised alarms. He showed little panic, avoided eye contact, and spoke in a flat, detached tone. Shannon's close friend Nicole Atkinson became suspicious when Shanann missed a doctor's appointment and stopped responding to messages. Within hours, Nicole contacted police and insisted on a welfare check. Officers arrived at the Watts home that same day. Body camera footage captured Chris calmly letting them inside, offering vague explanations and failing to ask critical questions about his missing family. Inside the house, everything Shanann would normally take, her purse, phone, medication, and car, was still there. To investigators, this was a major red flag. The investigation quickly escalated. A neighbor's surveillance camera showed Chris backing his truck into the driveway early that morning, something he rarely did. The footage did not show Shanann or the children leaving the house. Phone data and GPS records placed Chris at a remote oil site called Survey 319 that morning, a location he had volunteered to visit alone. Investigators found this highly suspicious. Chris agreed to take a polygraph test. During the examination, investigators observed signs of deception. When confronted with the failed results, Chris broke down. In his first confession, he claimed that Shanann had killed the children in a rage after he told her he wanted a separation, and that he killed Shanann in retaliation. Detectives immediately doubted this version. There was no physical evidence to support it, and it contradicted everything known about Shanann as a mother. Under pressure, Chris led investigators to Survey 319. What they found there horrified even experienced law enforcement officers. Shannon's body was buried in a shallow grave near the oil tanks. Bella and Celeste's bodies were found inside two separate crude oil tanks, forced through small openings. Autopsy reports later confirmed that Shanann died from manual strangulation and that the children were smothered. Shanann's unborn child also died as a result of the murder. As the evidence mounted, Chris's story completely collapsed. In later prison interviews, he admitted the full truth. He confessed that he had planned the murders. He killed Shanann in their bedroom, then smothered his daughters one by one. One of the most haunting details emerged when Chris admitted that Bella, realizing what was happening, asked him, "Daddy, no?" That moment became one of the most chilling aspects of the entire case. Digital evidence further exposed his motive. Chris had been communicating with Nickel before and after the murders. He had searched online for lyrics about killing, checked his financial future, and cancelled family-related expenses. Investigators concluded that his motive was not rage or mental illness, but self-interest. He wanted a new life, free from responsibility, and saw his family as obstacles. The legal process moved quickly. In November 2018, Chris Watts accepted a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to 5 counts of first-degree murder, 3 for his children, 1 for Shanann, and 1 for the unborn child, along with unlawful termination of a pregnancy. In exchange, prosecutors removed the death penalty. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During sentencing, Shanann's family delivered emotional statements describing her love, strength, and devotion to her children. Photos of Bella and Celeste smiling and laughing were shown in court, making the reality of their deaths unbearable. Chris spoke briefly, apologizing, but many felt his words lacked genuine remorse. The public reaction was massive and global. Social media users analyzed every interview, every text message, and every photo. Documentaries, podcasts, and books followed, all asking the same question: how could someone who looked so normal commit such an unimaginable crime?